let's now take you to our earlier story. Of course, this is around the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment expressing concerns about the latest research which shows that the impact of air pollution is worsening by the year, and that life expectancy is also being reduced because of it. This comes as the 18th annual Air Quality Governance Lekgotla is currently underway. To speak more on this, we now welcome Nyiko Mavunda Mbele. She's an independent environmental scientist. Nyiko, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So let's talk then about this conference. I mean, it does come at a time where researchers are actually sounding the alarm. According to the latest research, as we've been hearing, is that the impact of air pollution is worsening by the year. Just give us a sense of just how bad the situation is, especially when you consider that South Africa has the 8th largest number of children globally dying before the age of 5 due to air pollution.
Thank you very much for the time. Indeed, the situation is worsening, primarily because of South Africa's economy that is carbon intensive. If you look on all our core economic driving sectors, we get energy from fossil fuels, which increase the emission of greenhouse gases such as sulfur and carbon dioxide. So it is true, and action is required now because the impact of air pollution is increasing, also the impact of climate change, as the two are interrelated.
I mean, when you just consider, the involvement of the climate crisis as it stands now, playing a pivotal role in just bad air quality that is risking the health of billions of people worldwide, we understand. And then you take into cognizance the burden of disease report that has just come out and was published by the Medical Research Council. What interventions, do you think should be implemented or essentially fast-tracked, just given the elevation of air pollution in this country?
I think from the signing of the Air Quality Act a few weeks ago or last month, that is a one step in the right direction. The two acts, Air Quality Act and climate change actions, should help us to move towards the right direction. Another thing, implementation of the air quality management plans and the carbon budgets and enforcement by the Department of Environmental Affairs. Those are the critical steps that should be taken. However, there are other standards that are playing pivotal role. If you look at the net zero, a lot of companies are starting to commit, but the enforcement is a challenge. We can set up a quality management plans, net zero or climate transition plans, but if we don't implement them or enforce this implementation, we will come back to the same situation to say it's worsening every year, and the health impact, it's the challenge of the people that are innocent, children that are dying every day because of the exposure of this pollution.
And I mean, just having said that, we are talking essentially of an 18th Air Quality Lekgotla. So is there a sense of urgency here, given the fact that you are now talking about this urgency of action being taken, and yet here we are on the 18th Lekgotla discussing this very issue when in fact we should be implementing? I mean, do you think such conferences help? Such summits help in the long run, especially when you consider we've got sustainable development goals that we are striving towards, not only this country, but also in the African continent and globally?
Conferences, according to me, they should be helping us to track our progress in terms of implementation. Meeting year in, year out, without proper achievements in these actions, because these actions are set we're discussing them almost every year in different conferences. And this year alone, I'm not sure how many meetings or conferences might have been held to discuss related issues, not exactly equality, Lekgotla, but things that are linked to climate change, linked to air pollution, and environmental impact in general. And out of that, it's how are we tracking progress as the country instead of reporting it's worsening? But are we holding polluters accountable?
And just on that point on, sustainable development goals, how are we faring in this country, especially broadly when we're speaking about climate change? It is, after all, a deadline of 2030, I believe.
There are various SDGs that the country is tracking. There are those that we're doing well. There are those that we are lagging behind. And in terms of, as I was indicating, these conferences we should be tracking progress. We should be at the stage to report on by 2030, SDG 1 to 17. Where are we sitting? Are we achieving or we are lagging behind? To those that we are lagging behind, what are the interventions? So those should be the talks that we should be discussing in those meetings and conferences.
Absolutely. All right, Nyiko, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Nyiko Mavunda Mbele is an independent environmental scientist, of course, speaking to us there at the back of the 18th Annual Air Governance Lekgotla, which is currently taking place virtually, in fact, over the next 2 days.